You're watching Chicago Bears Now. I am your host, Harrison Graham. As always, we have a ton of Bears rumors and news to get into. Week 17 is here, and it's all on the line for the Bears in this week. So we'll talk about that matchup with the Packers later on. But first, are the Bears the hottest offense in the National Football League? I'm going to give this one to Smokin' Jays. People are talking. I'm not ready to say this is the hottest offense. Have you watched the Buffalo Bills recently? Wow, they're playing at a different level. But the past month, the Bears have been excellent. 35 points per game, almost 400 yards per game. The passing attack has been more efficient. Not huge numbers there, but the running game has been excellent. So you haven't had to throw the ball too much. David Montgomery's been getting it done. And in 19 red zone trips, you got 14 touchdowns. That's a really, really good percentage, well over 70% there. So this Bears offense the last 4 weeks has been really, really good. Best in the league? Maybe not, but top 5? Absolutely. There's no doubt about that. You do have to factor in who the Bears are playing, though. Lions, you lost 34-30. Could you imagine the situation had you won that game? You blew that game. You'd already be in the playoffs, but you put up 30 in that game. 36 against the Texans, 33-41 your last 2 games in must-wins against the Minnesota Vikings and Jacksonville Jaguars. This offense has done a very, very good job, and Bill Lazor is a big reason why. Matt Nagy handed the play calling off to him, and Lazor's been impressive with Trubisky. He's playing to his strengths. Bootlegs, play actions, easy throws, nothing too complicated, but stuff to maximize Mitchell Trubisky's athleticism. And with this offensive line shift in recent weeks, David Montgomery and running the football has been the core of this offense, and that, of course, sets up the play action. So I like what I've seen from Lazor, but I do want to pump the brakes just a bit because the last 4 opponents are bottom 10 in defenses. Like Detroit, Houston, Minnesota, Jacksonville. Yeah, you're putting up 35 a game. That's hard to do against anyone in the NFL. But let's be fair and say, hey, these are 4 of the worst 10 defenses in the National Football League. Just want to keep that in mind. Obviously, you got your shot against the Packers this week. You put up another 30-burger and win this game? Yeah, that's a really, really impressive stretch. So how confident are you in the Bears offense right now? Scale it from 1 to 10. 1 being, this is the Nick Foles Week 7 offense. 10 being, hey, they're not the Chiefs, but they're pretty damn close. But like a 7. This offense is playing good ball. The opponents haven't been great, but they've done what they've had to do. I'm excited to see what they do this week against the Green Bay Packers. A big part of this shift, in my opinion, 2 things. 1, Trubisky's played well. He's reignited this offense, and it's helped David Montgomery out with the improved offensive line. And 2, Matt Nagy handed off the play calling. He was asked about this on Monday. He said, look, it allows me to be the head coach I can be. It works for us. Of course, he's going to say that because the Bears are winning right now. But I do think this has been an important step for this coaching staff, especially if this staff is going to remain in place next year. I think things operate more smoothly in most situations when the head coach doesn't have too much on his plate. Matt Nagy, I think, is a better just micromanager of a football team. You got Lazor, who can focus on the play calling. Of course, Nagy has input on the game plan and some of the play calls. He's an offensive mind. All offensive head coaches are going to be involved, but I think Bill Lazor calling the plays has been what's best for the Chicago Bears, and that's why it has been one of the better offenses in recent weeks. If you haven't already, get subscribed to Chicago Bears Now. Help us reach 19,000 subscribers. I want to hit 75 new subs on today's live show. So if you're watching live, or hey, if you're watching a few days from now on Wednesday or Thursday, then you can go ahead and subscribe as well. Help us reach 19K. We're less than 500 away. Can we hit 19K before 2021? It's going to be tough, but I think we can get there with your help. Hit that sub button. Share that link with a friend. It's youtube.com/BearsNow. Next up on our rumors roundup here, Trubisky. Does he need to beat Aaron Rodgers this week? I'm going to go 3 Smokin' Jays. I'm not going to fully there. I'm not saying he has to win this game, but I'm pretty close because, A, if you win this game, you lock up a playoff spot, and B, if Mitchell Trubisky goes out there and goes toe-to-toe with Aaron Rodgers and wins a key game to get to the playoffs, that says a lot to me. The Bears are considering bringing this guy back, and I think beating Aaron Rodgers and the Packers, a team that this Bears franchise has struggled so mightily with in recent years, that makes the decision a whole lot easier when it comes to Trubisky and this Bears front office. Because right now, I would say they're leaning toward bringing Trubisky back. But What if Chicago gets romped 41-10 and Trubisky throws 3 picks in this game? He's been awesome the last 5 weeks, but can he do it on the big stage? Can he do it when everything is on the line against your biggest rival and a team that's playing excellent football right now in the Green Bay Packers? That's what I want to see. I want to see Trubisky deliver on a big stage. Can he do it? He can, but we have to see it. I want to see it. It's not 4 smoking Jays because you can lose this game. You can still get in, and he can play well and still lose, but I'm putting it at 3 smoking Jays. I think Trubisky needs to win this football game. And if he does, I think the answer to this question is probably going to be yes. It might be yes anyway, but I think you beat Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, you're bringing back Mitchell Trubisky. So let me know, should they bring him back? Type Y for yes, type N for no. Should the Bears re-sign Mitchell Trubisky? Go ahead and cast your votes down in the comments section. And if you want a Mitch Trubisky jersey, luckily for you guys, we have some for just $79.99. You can get this navy one or this gray one at the link below. It's chatsports.com/Trubisky. Here's the deal. I know a lot of you guys are like, man, I love Money Mitch, but what if he doesn't re-sign with the Bears next year? There's a thing called jersey assurance with our partners, Fanatics. So if he were to get signed elsewhere in the offseason, you're going to be able to get a new jersey. Chatsports.com/Trubisky. Go ahead and take advantage. Chatsports.com/Trubisky if you want a Mitchell Trubisky jersey. Now, Steve Young had this to say, the Hall of Fame quarterback. Mitch Trubisky's back in the saddle. He's going to get better than ever. He's going to be a much better player, and you are seeing it now. What I hope when it comes to Mitchell Trubisky is that he's not hearing all the noise. He's not hearing everyone out there saying, hey, like, he's earned the opportunity to come back. He's the Bears franchise guy. Because it's all that matters for Mitchell Trubisky is winning this game. You got to win this game against the Green Bay Packers. You win this game, yeah, those things are going to come true. You're probably going to be back in Chicago next year. You might even get franchise tagged. Who knows what will happen? But if you get blown out by Aaron Rodgers, things can change quickly in another direction. So, look, it's not 4 smoking Jays, but yeah, it's 3, and it's probably more like 3.5. Now, how about the Bears beating the Green Bay Packers? Do we think that's going to happen? 2 smoking Jays. It's people are talking. It's definitely higher than 25%, which is why I'm going more than 1 smoking Jay. But look, Green Bay's favored, and they should be because they're the best team in the NFC right now. They're playing good football. They have the number 1 scoring offense in the NFL, and they're 12-3. Bears are playing better, but the schedule hasn't been that difficult. And Mitch's first start back from the benching earlier in the season was against the Packers, and that was a 41-10 game in the fourth quarter. So you're going to have to play a lot better this time around if you're going to beat the Green Bay Packers. Now, the Bears have more to play for than the Packers, but Packers are fighting for the number 1 seed. They're not going to lay down in this football game, so you're going to have to beat them at full strength. Packers are early favorites in this one, even though it's at Chicago, 5.5-point favorites there, and that's not super surprising. I think the Bears can win this game, but will they? People are talking. I'm going to give it 2 smoking Jays. So predict the score for me. Bears versus Packers, biggest game of the year for really both of these teams as Green Bay tries to lock up the number 1 seed and Chicago tries to get into the playoffs. Let me know what your score predictions are. Bears versus Packers. Get your scores in right now. And if you want to bet on this game, you can do it with our sports betting partners at BetRivers. Go to chatsports.com/BetIL or chatsports.com/BetIN. They're going to give you a 100% deposit match when you get signed up. But to actually place a bet, you must be within the state lines of either Illinois or Indiana. Hence the 2 different links, chatsports.com/BetIN if you're in the state of Indiana. If you are in the state of Illinois, it's chatsports.com/BetIL. You can sign up and deposit from anywhere in the U.S., but to place a bet, you must be within state lines, so keep that in mind. Next up on our Bears Rumors Roundup are Jaylon, Johnson, and Buster Skrine going to play in this one. I'll go 2 smoking Jays. I don't think it's quite 50-50. I think it's more like 35%, so I'll give it more than 1 smoking Jay, but I don't think it's fairly likely overall. I think Jaylon Johnson is more likely to play because he's dealing with the shoulder, while Buster Skrine has been dealing with a concussion the last few weeks, and he hasn't been able to return from that, so that's definitely been a notable problem there. But this is important for the Bears because if both these corners are out, you're not going to have two of your top three corners against Davante Adams and this Green Bay Packers attack. So having Jaylon Johnson and Buster Skrine out there would go a very, very long way. I hope they can be back for this game. Even if you just had Johnson and Duke Shelley operates the nickel spot, I think that would be very, very critical for this Chicago Bears defense, because could you imagine Kendall Vildor being matched up on Davante Adams? That would be bad. Davante Adams is probably the best receiver in the NFL right now. He's been that good. 17 touchdowns this season, 109 catches, over 1,300 yards. You need your best corners out there. We'll see. Matt Nagy said on Monday, we're crossing our fingers. That doesn't sound super confident to me, but somewhere between 1 and 2 smoking Jays. I'll round up to 2 because I think it's better than 25%. If you could at least have one of these guys back, I think that would go a very, very long way. Hopefully these guys return soon. You only got a few days before Week 17. So are the Bears going to make the playoffs? A lot of playoff talk today. I'll go 3 smoking Jays. The Green Bay game is going to be tough. Let's just call it what it is. That's a team that's playing really good football right now and just has the Bears' number. It's not going to be easy, even though it's at home. But there's other avenues. That's why I'll go 3 smoking Jays here. You could lose this game, and if the Cardinals lose to the Los Angeles Rams, you could also get in as well. Obviously, it comes down to those last 3 teams there. The Rams, the Bears, and the Cardinals. 2 of those 3 get in. One of those teams will be left out. So hopefully the Bears are one of them, but these are the paths to getting in. You beat the Packers, who cares what happens in the other game? That's what you got to focus on. Beat Green Bay. Number 2, if you lose to the Packers, if the Cardinals lose to the Rams, you get in as well. Third outlier scenario, if the Bears and Cardinals games both tie, yeah, you'd get in. That's like a 0.0001% chance of happening. So really the focus needs to be beating Green Bay or having Arizona lose to the Rams. But look, control what you can control. You beat the Packers, you get into the playoffs. It's as simple as that. So will the Bears make the playoffs? Type Y for yes, type N for no. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. I think it's pretty likely, but it's definitely not a given. There's a good chance that you could get left out, especially if you lose to Green Bay. And this final note goes a long way. Does the Jared Goff injury hurt the Bears? Absolutely. 4 smoking Jays on this one. Jared Goff is not going to play against Arizona this weekend. And we know if the Cardinals beat the Rams, you have to beat the Packers. Otherwise, you're not in the playoffs. Thumb surgery, he is out. John Wolford will start. If you don't know much about him, Wake Forest alum, and he played in the Alliance of American Football League a couple of years ago. Not exactly inspiring confidence. They did pick up Blake Bortles, who was Goff's backup last year, but I don't know how much that's really going to factor in here. I think Wolford's going to be the guy. I think the Rams can play enough defense. We saw the Cardinals just lose to C.J. Beathard, so it's not like they're lighting it up right now either. Plus, Kyler Murray's banged up too. I think he'll play in this game, but he's dealing with the leg injury he suffered this past week, and Kingsbury has not fully committed to him playing, or at least hadn't committed to him being 100%. So I think he'll be out there, but he may not be as mobile as he normally is, and that's a big deal when it comes to Kyler Murray. So decent chance that he's not 100%, but Jared Goff being out, that stings. That's 4 smoking Jays.